The question I've been talking last about almost a month is why people engage in the spiritual path. What is the reasons why? And many times people have a sort of fancy interest because so and so is interested, and many people are interested. So I would like to find out what is in there for me. People do that very often. So I'm not sure whether that is the right reasons why you need to engage in spiritual path. As I've been saying, this Tibetan Buddhism is a very strange teaching, very strange practice. Strange in the sense, this particular style or the lineage is sort of landlocked in Tibet for so many, maybe 1,000 years, totally landlocked. I always say the Tibetans have sacrificed. Not only I always say it, but the truth is, Tibetans have sacrificed material development. Is it true? It's a difficult area, so they have difficulties. However, country can be developed economically or everything, economically or anything. But they have sacrificed to keep that Buddha's teaching as pure as possible. Because for Tibetans, and this is a sort of a unique jewel that people could get it. And when they brought Buddhism first in Tibet, and as they brought Buddhism first in Tibet, what will happen is they have sacrificed the life of a king even to bring that pure Buddhism in Tibet. And Tibetans emphasize so much for purity, because if it's not pure, then they don't want it. Honestly, we used to say, if you want to drink pure water, you must drink the water that comes from glacier. If you want a pure spiritual path, you must follow the path that the Buddha has shown us and trace the lineage all the way up to Buddha without any broken in line. So the purity of the spiritual path is very important for Tibetans. Anything impure. The reasons why the Tibetan king have sacrificed his life is there are some interesting things have happened. Some visiting Indian teachers who came and questionable whether it is a pure Buddha's teaching or a mixture of something. For that reason, the Tibetans went out of the way to get an outstanding not only a scholar, but also sage, which happens to be the sort of teacher will be holding the lineage for the great institution called Bikramshila in India. On those days, there are two outstanding traditions in India. The tradition that comes from Nalanda and tradition that comes from Bikramshila. These are the two outstanding, absolutely reliable. Plus, this tradition of the great Mahasiddhis, sort of not self-developed, but those adepts who had developed spiritual power to be able to do and undo things. So in order to get one of those authentic, suitable teacher to making sure the Buddhism that is developing in Tibet is pure, the job of that particular teacher is to discard the things which is not absolutely pure or correct. Even if it's pure and correct, even then, if it's not going to be helpful to the people, and then they discard it. For that reason, they needed outstanding, and then again, little younger, energetic teacher, which happens to be the future lineage holder of this great Indian Buddhist institute. So they have a difficulty to let him go. So for that reason, even the life of a king has to be sacrificed. And so that's why the purity is extremely important for the early Tibetans. Why? If it's not pure, it is impure, it doesn't help you. Doesn't help you, create confusion, create difficulties. And our spiritual path is such that is sort of unknown to each and every individual, because it is only known person who had the spiritual development, and they will not publicize what that is all about it. They will gradually share their experience in the form of teaching or books or sort of a little bit of information here and there. They're not going to provide scientifically acceptable manual for how to make spiritual development. There's no such. So that's why it's a little unknown road. So when it is an unknown road, it has a lot of room for mistake, confusion, and even going to the wrong way. So that's why early Tibetan people, I'm talking about 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th century, all these 300 years, they really emphasized so much. So much so that in order to preserve that purity, and they sort of make the country land, which is landlocked already. But the information also, they try to have a little restriction of coming in as well as going out. And the whole purpose is to try to keep the Buddhism pure. because Tibetans do know this is the only thing that make difference for the people, for their life and their lives. I guess I did say lives because we are believer of reincarnation.